June 15, 1944, 30,000 feet above the Pacific Ocean, somewhere near the Mariana Islands. The hum of the four massive engines cuts through the sky, the rhythmic thrum a constant companion to the crew aboard the B-29 Superfortress. Lieutenant Colonel Paul Tibbets, the aircraft commander, looks out of the cockpit window, watching the endless expanse of blue. His plane is part of a new breed, a weapon of war meant to change the face of the conflict. The B-29, dubbed the Superfortress, is designed to deliver a heavy payload of bombs over vast distances with unprecedented precision. Below him, the island of Saipan is beginning to take shape in the distance. It's just another step in a long campaign to bring the war to Japan's doorstep. Yet the men aboard the B-29 know something that the Japanese pilots don't yet realize. This plane, clumsy in its size and design, holds the power to turn the tide of the Pacific War, but for now, that remains a secret, one that the Japanese will soon. Far from the Pacific skies, in a war-torn Japan, the B-29 is little more than a rumor, a myth whispered among the ranks of the Imperial Japanese Army and Navy. They have heard the stories of its massive wingspan, its unmatched bomb capacity, and its ability to fly long distances. But like many new weapons, it is dismissed as a fleeting threat, an overhyped bomber, they believe, that will be easily swatted from the sky. The Japanese military, already feeling the strain of years of war, laugh off the B-29. Just another overgrown bomber, one Japanese pilot scoffs, flicking ash from his cigarette as he lounges in the barracks. They'll never get past our interceptors. In the safety of their own air superiority, it's easy to mock the unfamiliar. The Japanese forces have dominated the skies for much of the war, and their Zeros, fast and nimble, have shown time and time again that they can outmaneuver and obliterate their enemies in seconds. The B-29, with its bulky frame and clumsy appearance, hardly seems like a match for the elite Japanese pilots. But Tibbets and his crew know something the Japanese don't. They've seen the B-29 in action, and they understand its true potential. This bomber has the capability to bring death to Japan from the skies like never before. It's not just about bombs. It's about a new kind of warfare, one that would rain destruction on cities thousands of miles from any battlefield. As Tibbets and his crew prepare for their first mission, the island of Saipan begins to grow larger on the horizon. Their mission is clear: pave the way for the coming campaign by establishing an airbase on Saipan, one that would allow them to launch long-range strikes on the Japanese homeland. This is the beginning of something bigger, a message the Japanese will soon understand all too well. November 24th, 1944. Over Tokyo Bay, Japan. The B-29s are lined up in tight formation, their engines roaring as they slice through the clear blue sky above the Pacific. Below them, the shimmering coastline of Japan stretches out, an island nation unaware of the death that's about to rain down upon it. The roar of the engines is deafening inside the aircraft, a reminder of the sheer power of these flying machines. The pilots and crew are focused, their eyes scanning the horizon, knowing that today marks a new chapter in the war. At the helm, Colonel Tibbets holds the controls with steady hands. His crew is silent, save for the quiet hum of radio chatter. Their mission today is straightforward: bomb the industrial heart of Japan. The superfortresses have made it to Japan's doorstep, and they are carrying a payload that could alter the course of the conflict. This isn't a simple raid. This is a declaration of war, the opening salvo in what would soon become an unrelenting campaign. As the formation nears Tokyo, the ground forces begin to stir. The Japanese air defense radar blips, and within moments, the first interceptors scramble to meet the invaders. Up above, Japanese pilots in their nimble Zeros take off, eyes fixed on the massive lumbering B-29s that have appeared like ghosts in the sky. But their confidence is misplaced. The B-29 is indeed clumsy, yes, but it's also armed with state-of-the-art technology. Radar jammers distort the enemy's targeting systems, and the crew's gunners are ready to defend their fortress from any would-be attackers. As the Japanese Zeros approach, their pilots' faces twist in disbelief. They've mocked this bomber for so long, but as they close in, they realize the truth. The B-29 is not what they expected. It is more resilient than they had imagined. The first wave of Zeros makes their move, diving towards the formation of B-29s. But the aircraft's gunners open fire. The sky is suddenly filled with tracer rounds, a deadly web of gunfire that seems to hang in the air. The Zeros are fast, but the B-29 is a fortress, and the pilots who scoffed at it are soon forced to reconsider their judgment. One by one, the Japanese fighters are sent spiraling to the earth, their pilots ejecting or crashing in flames. The B-29s continue their mission undeterred. As the bombers pass over Tokyo, the bombs drop in a precise, devastating cascade. The earth shakes beneath the force of the explosions as the city below is torn apart. Fires erupt, smoke rising into the air as the first taste of destruction is delivered. The B-29s are not just bombing factories or military installations. They are sending a message. Japan's whole islands are now within reach. No place is safe from the sky. Back in Japan, the reaction is one of disbelief. The Japanese military leadership had dismissed the B-29s as nothing more than overhyped blimps. But as the fires rage through Tokyo, the reality becomes painfully clear. This new weapon is unlike anything Japan has ever faced. The Japanese Air Force scrambles to intercept the bombers, but each raid is more devastating than the last. The superfortresses are not just dropping bombs. They are changing the very rules of warfare. March 10, 1945. Over Tokyo, Japan. The sun has barely set over the Japanese capital, casting a hazy orange glow across the sprawling city below. But in the skies above, the dark silhouettes of B-29 bombers loom, their engines a constant hum that drowns out the quiet whispers of the wind. The formation is vast, merely 300 B-29s in a tight, synchronized line, each one carrying a deadly payload that will bring death to the heart of Tokyo. This is no longer just a mission. It's a campaign, a relentless assault designed to break Japan's will to fight. Colonel Tibbets, now a seasoned veteran of many bombing runs, surveys the flight deck of his B-29, his face expressionless. He's seen the destruction before, but it never becomes easier. The crew, too, is silent, each man focused on his task as they prepare to deliver another blow. Below them, Tokyo waits, unaware of the devastation that will soon rain down upon it. The bombers have become a nightly visitor, and with each passing raid, the city grows more fragile. Tonight's target is different from previous missions. This time, the B-29s will deliver a new kind of payload, incendiary bombs, designed not just to destroy buildings, but to ignite fires that will spread uncontrollably, consuming entire neighborhoods. As the bombers reach the outskirts of the city, the first salvo of incendiaries is released. For a moment, there's nothing but a brief, haunting silence as the bombs fall, spinning toward the earth below. Then, the night sky is filled with the flash of explosions, the sudden burst of light too bright to behold. Fires erupt in the streets and buildings, their heat reaching up to meet the bombers as they continue their march. The air smells of burning wood, metal, and flesh. Tokyo is being set ablaze, a city on the brink of collapse. The Japanese defenses scramble, but there's little they can do. The B-29s are flying high and fast, and the Zeros, even at their best, are powerless to stop them. The Japanese military had dismissed the superfortress as a joke in the beginning, But now it is clear they had underestimated their enemy. The B-29s are here to stay, and with each new raid, the destruction grows. Inside Tokyo, the civilians are caught in the chaos. Streets once bustling with life are now eerily silent, save for the roar of the fires consuming them. Families are trapped in their homes, unable to escape the inferno. Buildings collapse under the intense heat, while survivors flee, only to be caught in the streets by the rising walls of flame. The city is a furnace, and there is no place to hide from the hell raining down from above. The bombers, undeterred by the chaos below, continue their assault. The raid lasts for hours, and as dawn begins to break, Tokyo is barely recognizable. The destruction is so extensive that even the Japanese military is left in shock. Over 100,000 people are dead, and the city is left in ruins. The raid, one of the most destructive in history, signals the beginning of a new era in warfare, one where entire cities can be obliterated in a matter of hours. In the aftermath, the Japanese leadership is forced to confront a harsh truth. The B-29s are not just a nuisance, they are an unstoppable force. The raids continue, each one more devastating than the last. For the first time in the war, Japan feels the full weight of America's industrial might, a power that no interceptor, no fighter pilot can hope to counter. April 18, 1945. Over Osaka, Japan, the B-29s are once again in the skies, this time flying toward the industrial heart of Osaka. A heavy, oppressive air hangs over the formation as the pilots mentally prepare for what's coming. This is their fourth raid in a week. Over the past few months, Japanese cities have been turned into craters, their skylines reduced to rubble and ash. The crew inside the superfortresses know their mission by heart: destroy, devastate, demoralize. But even they cannot help but wonder how much longer the Japanese can endure such relentless bombardment. As the bombers approach Osaka, the city below looks deceptively calm, unaware that another wave of destruction is about to descend upon it. The streets of Osaka are still packed with civilians going about their daily lives, unaware that the B-29s are not just targeting military installations or factories anymore. This time, the objective is more brutal: the continued destruction of Japan's ability to sustain war. The Japanese military, meanwhile, has begun to feel the weight of the air raids. Their early confidence in their defenses, their interceptors, their anti-aircraft artillery has been shattered. The B-29s fly high above the reach of the best their air force can muster. The Zeros, once revered as the kings of the sky, can no longer stop the superfortresses. Their pilots are now scrambling, trying in vain to slow the relentless march of the B-29s. But each raid only serves to expose the inadequacy of their defenses. Tonight's raid on Osaka is no different. As the B-29s drop their payloads, the city below explodes in fire and smoke. Incendiaries rain down like a fiery storm, igniting factories, warehouses, and civilian homes alike. The fires quickly spread, engulfing entire blocks, as though the city itself is burning alive. Once again, the Japanese have underestimated the destruction they are about to face. The Zeros make another attempt to intercept, but they are too late. Too few of them remain, and the few that engage the B-29s are quickly gunned down by the bombers' defensive fire. In the skies, Tibbets watches as the flames begin to rise from the city below. It is a haunting sight, one that no man can get used to. He knows that the destruction is far from over, that this will not be the last raid, but there's a bitter weight in his chest. His crew, too, is somber. The mission is always the same: drop the bombs, watch the city burn, and return to base. But after months of this, the toll of the destruction begins to set in. Below in Osaka's ruins, Japan's civilians and military leaders are now acutely aware of the severity of the situation. The air raids are no longer just an inconvenience. They are a slow, grinding death sentence. The cities, once proud and bustling, are now just ashes. The realization has begun to settle in. Japan is doomed. Their defenses, once considered impenetrable, have been torn apart by the relentless might of America's industrial power. The B-29s have proven to be more than just a bomber. They are a symbol of something far greater, a manifestation of the United States' determination to bring the war to Japan's doorstep and to force an end to the conflict at any cost. For the Japanese, the B-29s are not just an enemy weapon. They are a harbinger of their inevitable defeat. No matter how many Zeros they send into the air, no matter how many anti-aircraft guns they set up, they cannot stop the bombers from coming. And with each raid, the realization grows that there is no safe place left in Japan. The B-29s will continue their deadly mission, each raid bringing Japan one step closer to collapse. The Superfortress has proven to be everything the Japanese had once mocked, and more. It is not just a bomber, it is the force that will change the course of history. August 6, 1945, 31,000 feet above Hiroshima, Japan. The air is thick with tension, the kind of stillness that only comes before an event that will change the world forever. Inside the B-29 Enola Gay, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Tibbets grips the controls as his eyes scan the horizon. Below, the target city of Hiroshima lies unsuspecting, its streets bustling with daily life. But this is no ordinary bombing run. This is a mission that carries with it the weight of human history. The weapon they are about to unleash is unlike anything the world has ever seen. The B-29's massive bomb bay doors open, revealing a single, monstrous payload, an atomic bomb, codenamed Little Boy. Its presence is almost surreal, its silence deafening in comparison to the roar of the engines. The crew inside the Enola Gay is quiet, save for the occasional order and the mechanical hum of the aircraft systems. There is no excitement, no triumph, just an eerie calm before the storm. They know the power they carry. They know what will happen when that bomb is released. As the B-29 approaches Hiroshima, Tibbets has a single thought running through his mind. He looks at the city below, its streets winding like a labyrinth of life and history. But now, it is just a target for the most destructive weapon humanity has ever conceived. There's no turning back now. The bomb must drop at the moment of release. The bomb falls away from the aircraft, a brief flash of motion against the blue sky. The world seems to hold its breath as it plummets toward the earth, its destiny sealed. Below, the people of Hiroshima remain unaware of the impending devastation, going about their day, living out their final moments in an oblivious tranquility. Then, the explosion, a blinding flash of light, erupts from the ground below, so powerful that it momentarily blinds the crew of the Enola Gay, even from their high altitude. The shockwave is immediate, the force of the blast so immense that it rattles the very air around them. The mushroom cloud rises into the atmosphere, towering over Hiroshima like a harbinger of doom. The sky turns into an inferno, a fiery ring expanding outward in all directions. Hiroshima is gone. The once thriving city, home to nearly 350,000 people, is now a crater, a place where life has been erased in an instant. The streets are no longer familiar, only scorched remnants of a world that once was. The heat is so intense that everything in its path, buildings, trees, people, turns to ash, leaving only shadows where human life once existed. In the cockpit of the Enola Gay, Tibbets takes one final glance at the descending cloud. The world is forever changed. For a moment, there is silence within the plane, as if the crew is collectively processing what they've just done. No one speaks. The realization has settled in. They've done it. They've broken the Japanese resolve in a way no other bombing raid could. The destruction is total, the devastation so complete that no one can even fathom the magnitude. The Japanese are now left to face the reality of their situation. The B-29s, once mocked as overhyped and clumsy, have become the vehicle of mankind's greatest power, capable of destroying entire cities in seconds. But Hiroshima was just the beginning. The Japanese military, already weakened from months of constant air raids, is now confronted with a new weapon, one they cannot counter, and one they cannot survive. The message has been sent. August 9th, 1945. Over Nagasaki, Japan. The sound of the B-29 boxcar's engines reverberates through the sky, cutting through the clouds like a blade. Major Charles Sweeney sits at the controls, his face calm, focused, and grim. 3 days have passed since Hiroshima was erased from the earth. Yet the Japanese High Command still has not surrendered. The world waits in uneasy silence, unsure if that first display of devastation will be enough to end the war. Now, another superfortress carries a second weapon, codenamed Fat Man. It will make the message unmistakable. Below, the city of Nagasaki lies in the morning haze, unaware that it has become the next target. The boxcar circles once, finding a break in the clouds. At exactly 11:02 a.m., the bomb bay doors open and Fat Man falls away, spinning silently through the air for 43 seconds that will echo through eternity. Then, once again, light. A second sun ignites over Nagasaki. The explosion dwarfs anything seen before, an instant white glare, followed by an ocean of fire and shock. The air itself seems to burn as the atomic blast tears through the valley, leveling everything within miles. Thousands are gone in an instant. Others stumble through the wreckage, their silhouettes lit by flames that consume what remains of the city. From the cockpit, Sweeney and his crew watch in stunned silence. The mushroom cloud rises higher and higher, billowing into the stratosphere. In that moment, it becomes clear that the age of the B-29 has ushered in something far beyond conventional war. The superfortress, once mocked for its size and sluggishness, has delivered the most fearsome power ever unleashed by humankind. News of Hiroshima and Nagasaki reaches Tokyo within hours. The generals sit in disbelief, staring at photographs of obliterated cities, 2 cities erased by 2 bombs. Emperor Hirohito listens to his advisors argue, some still calling for resistance, others urging surrender. Outside the palace walls, the air smells of ash carried on distant winds. The B-29s have made it clear, no corner of Japan is beyond their reach. On August 15, 1945, the radio crackles to life across the shattered nation. Hirohito's voice, calm and weary, addresses his people for the first time. We have resolved to pave the way for a grand peace for all the generations to come by enduring the unendurable and suffering what is insufferable. Japan surrenders. The war that began with surprise attacks and confident laughter ends in silence and smoke. Across the Pacific, American air crews sit quietly beside their grounded bombers, listening to the news through the static. Some cheer, others simply stare at their planes, the same machines that carried them through thousands of miles of sky and dropped fire upon entire cities. The Japanese pilots who once mocked the B-29 are gone, their Zeros long burned or grounded. Those who survived now look to the sky with a mixture of awe and horror. The clumsy bomber they once dismissed had brought an empire to its knees. In the end, the B-29 Superfortress did what no weapon before it could. It made war itself seem unbearable. From mockery to annihilation, from doubt to surrender. Its legacy would forever mark the moment humanity learned just how much destruction it was capable of, and how fragile civilization truly is when that power is unleashed.